Now that you've learned to control the main timeline, both with keyframe-based actions as well as event handlers, it's time to take it a step further. Here, we're going to learn how to actually target and control the timelines of movie clips, and even nested movie clips on our main stage. To get started, open up the rccar7.fla starter file. Locate the Lights button in the top right corner of your stage and click to select it. We've already given this button an instance name of lights_btn, which means we can target it with ActionScript. We can assign it an event handler, and we can tell it to respond to a specific type of event, such as a mouse click. However, this time we're not actually going to control the main timeline through a basic stop and play action. In this case, we're going to use this button to turn the headlights on and off for the RC car that goes around the track. The tricky part is that these headlights are actually nested movie clips inside of our RC car, which itself is a movie clip. This is going to require us to target timelines that go down a few levels deep. So the first thing we want to make sure is that we actually have a good instance name set up for everything, our RC car as well as the movie clips within it. Go ahead and click once on the RC car itself, and in the Properties panel in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see we've already assigned this the instance name of truck_MC. However, we're not trying to control this truck itself, but rather the two headlight movie clips inside. Let's dig a little bit deeper by double-clicking on our RC car. You'll see this brings us into Edit in Place for our truck movie clip, and if we look down at the timeline, we'll see the two layers that make up our truck. Now to get a better look at everything, let's go over to the Tools panel on the right, and let's select the Zoom tool, which is our magnifying glass. In order to select and see those headlights, we're going to need to zoom in just a little bit more. Click and drag and draw a selection area or marquee around your truck until it's zoomed in nice and large on the stage, like we see here. Switch back to your selection tool by selecting it from the top of the Tools panel on the right. And what you'll see is the headlights are just these two little white discs in the front of the car. Go ahead and click that right headlight once to select it. And if we look up at the Properties panel in the upper right-hand corner, we'll see this is a movie clip, or specifically an instance of the headlight beam movie clip. As of now, we can see it hasn't been assigned an instance name. So this is actually going to be necessary if we want this movie clip to do anything later on, or specifically if we want to target it with ActionScript. Click inside the instance name type-in field and let's assign this the name of RightLight_MC. We can now target that movie clip and any animation inside of it using this instance name. Let's go ahead and do the same thing with the left headlight. Go back over and click once carefully on that left headlight to select it. And if we go back to the Properties panel, we'll see again this is an instance of the same movie clip, which is headlight beam. And we're going to give this a unique instance name by clicking in the instance name type-in field and calling it LeftLight_MC. Now that we've named both headlights, we can target them from any place within our movie. So what we're going to do is just jump back up to the main timeline by going to the breadcrumb navigation in the upper left-hand corner here above the stage and clicking on the Scene 1 link. This returns us to the main timeline. Now we're still going to be zoomed in quite a bit from the last couple of operations we did. So what we're going to do is we're going to return this back to the view we had earlier on by going up to View, choosing Magnification, and choosing Fit in Window. This fits our entire movie regardless of its size inside of the viewable area of our work area. Now an important thing to note is that Fit in Window is not probably a reflection of the original scale. So if we look at the percentage indicator in the upper right-hand corner above the stage, we'll see this is actually at 55% currently for me. It may be slightly different for you. Just keep that in mind that this view is strictly for our convenience. Now that our RC car and the two headlights inside of it have their instance names, we're ready to actually wire up our lights button and make those headlights go on and off. Go ahead and select the first keyframe of the Actions layer, and let's open up our Actions panel by going to Window and choosing Actions. Here we're going to see the two event handlers and two event listeners that we assigned from our previous lesson. And our job now is going to be to do the exact same thing for our lights button. First, we're going to create the task or the response in the form of a new function or event handler. Let's go ahead and do this directly underneath the two functions we have so far. Click in the space after the closing brace of our Move Car event handler and hit the Enter or Return key twice to make a little bit of room. And let's go ahead and set this up by typing function, making a space, and giving this the arbitrary name of Lights On, since that's essentially what we're going to do. Follow that with a set of parentheses and create an open and close set of curly braces. You'll notice by habit I always create a full empty line in between those curly braces. Now here's the tricky part. It's not enough to say stop or play. If we do that, we're simply going to be targeting the main timeline once again. Because all of our code is on the main timeline, without actually using any type of instance name, ActionScript always assumes that stop or play is going to refer to stopping or playing the main timeline itself. However, here we have to go a few levels deeper, and we have to target those two headlights and tell those to stop or play. While we could type everything in manually, there's actually a handy little button that sits at the toolbar at the top of the script window. At the top, locate this button that looks like a target. This is our Insert a Target Path button. This allows us to navigate items within our movie and select them, and automatically add a path to that particular item inside of our Actions panel. Go ahead and click on this, and what you're going to see here is basically a tree view of all of the movie clips and items within our movie. Go down and locate Truck MC at the bottom, and because there's actually other movie clips inside, go ahead and click to expand. Scroll down if necessary, and you'll see that there should be two movie clips there, one called Left Light MC, one called Right Light. So let's go ahead and actually select this by clicking on Left Light, and you'll see what happens at the top of this dialog box is that it forms the path for us. So it says this.truckmc.leftlightmc. This tells ActionScript exactly the path it has to follow to get to our left headlight. Now you'll notice this at the top. This is simply a way of having the main timeline refer back to itself. We haven't used this a lot, but it's okay to have it there. So let's go ahead and click OK to insert our target path, and you'll see it inserts it right where our cursor is inside of our lights on function. Now this isn't enough in itself. What we have to do is actually tell the left light what to do. The left light has its own animation that shows the light actually being switched on. So for this, we're going to use the same old trusty play action by typing .play and following that with a semicolon. So what we have here is that this line targets the left light movie clip inside of our truck on the main timeline and tells it to play. Since each movie clip has its own timeline and very often its own respective animation, we have to follow this method in order to target things other than the main timeline. And it's simply a matter of just telling ActionScript where to find it by using a chain of instance names or a path. Go ahead and hit the Enter Return key to make one new line underneath the one we've just created, because we have to do this same thing for the right headlight as well. Once again, go up and click the Insert a Target Path button, and this opens the dialog box we see here. Again, we're going to go down and find Truck MC and expand it, and if we scroll down, we should see our right light. Let's select our right light so that the path is formed at the top of the dialog box and click the OK button to insert that path into the script window. So again, we have a perfect path for ActionScript to follow to get to that right headlight. And once again, we're going to tell it to do the same thing by typing .play, followed by a semicolon. Now we have a few more things to do since Lights On is an event handler and not just any old function. You'll notice our two event handlers at the top have a little bit more code which fills them out. Click inside the parentheses after Lights On and type E:event. This is our placeholder that catches any event information that's passed in. And after the parentheses, type :void. This lets ActionScript know not to expect any information or data back from this function. It performs an action and then shuts down until the next time it's called. Last but not least, we're going to hook up our lights button to our brand new event handler. Go down after the last line in your script window and hit the Enter or Return key to make a new line. First thing we need to do is target our lights button. For this, we're going to type in its instance name by typing lights_btn. We're going to follow that with a period, and again, we're going to get this handy drop-down that appears, and from here, we can double-click and select Add Event Listener to insert it. Add Event Listener takes two important pieces of information. The first is the type of event that Lights button needs to receive in order to do its thing. That's going to be the word click in quotes. We're going to follow that with a comma, and we're going to tell it what event handler to use as its response, which will be our brand new Lights On event handler. Close up the parentheses and cap everything off with a semicolon. We're now ready to test our brand new button and also to see if we've effectively targeted a movie clip a few different timelines down. Go up to the control menu and choose Test Movie. Let's go ahead and stop our RC car just for a moment, and let's click that lights button, and there we go. We should see our lights come right on. Now, a welcome side effect that we actually see is that since we're using a play command inside of our event handler, If we click this lights button when the lights are already out, it simply advances the playhead back to the beginning of the headlight movie clip. So it actually looks like the lights are being turned off. You may recall earlier that we placed a stop action on the first frame of that headlight. So turning the lights on and off is actually accomplished using the same button. All we're doing is simply pushing the playhead along. Go ahead and close your Flash Player and close your Actions panel. As we've seen here, it's important to remember that we can target movie clips at any point, any time within our movie. It does require us, however, to have a pretty solid chain of instance names in place. This gives ActionScript the ability to navigate between different timelines and find the exact movie clip instance that we need. From there, we can tell movie clips to play, stop, go to and play, or just about anything else like we would do with the main timeline. This is because the main timeline itself is a movie clip. So any action that you can call on the main timeline, you can call for a movie clip timeline. However, you need to make sure that you target the specific movie clip that you want to stop, play, or otherwise using its instance name, or in the cases we've seen here, several instance names in a row. So we can target any movie clip just as we would the main timeline. Play it, stop it, or have it perform a loop. It's up to us. The important thing to remember is that we have to make sure we're calling the right instance name, or as we've seen in this specific example, we may need to drill down a few levels by creating a path of several instance names put together. You can view the completed file in this lesson folder by opening up the rccar7completed.fla file.